Hi kids, it's day 66 of the 365 day video series, and I got a video request yesterday, saying if I could time travel to any time period and live 10 years in that time period, which time period would I choose? And I thought about it and thought about it, and I've brought it down to a few choices. First would just be the 1980s, from 1980 to 1990. Like, that time, I feel like I should have been alive during the 80s, because literally all of my favorite bands were making music at the time. All of the groups from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, most of them were still around during the 80s. And, like, everybody was touring, and it was awesome. And, like, punk was just getting started. Well, not just getting started. Get started in the 80s, in the 70s. But, like, it was, like, shooting off during the 80s. And so was metal. And it's just like, I wish I could live during the 80s. I was also wanting to live... I was also thinking, during the 1950s, like, with the beatniks in the Beat Generation in New York City. I thought that'd be really cool, just because I'd love to meet, like, Allen Ginsberg, and, like, he's the only really one I know, but it just sounded like a really cool time. And the last one was in the 1920s, in Paris, because that was when a bunch of American writers, like, went down to Paris, like, after World War One, and they just stayed there for 10 years, and it was awesome. You have, like, Ernest Hemingway and Ezra Pound, and, like, just a bunch of these authors, and they just wrote the best stuff of their lives, and, like, I'd love to be a part of that. And you know what? They also hung out with, like, artists like Pablo Picasso. Like, it was just an amazing time. Like, bring me there. There's nothing comparable to that now. I'm jealous. I totally am. Well, that's basically it. Stay free and classy.